This is the mystery font. Good gray. Good. 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 Gray. Array liaised. Mind mazed. Perpendicular trains parallel against hate, parallel against pain. Radio science brain. This is the font. I'm Tim, one host, and just handing off from another host, I say thank you, Rogers, to you, Roger, and I now take over, saying, I am indeed ready. I receive and say, Roger, Roger to you. This is the mystery font, and I am Mr. Reed Rogers. This is a good time to mention the persistent and devastating effect of one of the most common tools of narcissists and abusers. Shocking boundary violations are how a dark triad predator or narcissist flips reality by devastating our calibration. In concert with Darvo and other mechanisms, shocking boundary violations destabilize us and assert coercive control. What are some examples of shocking boundary violations? Grabbing someone by the genitals is a shocking boundary violation. And if not dealt with, the trauma can go on. What if, at the intervention, talking about grabbing someone by the genitals, the perp said something about how our neighbors are rapists? That is a shocking boundary violation. What if, at an intervention about how you don't call our neighbors rapists, he physically sears the very dignity of a reporter for their having a physical disability, mocking and scapegoating them like a playground bully who would just as soon kill them? That's a shocking boundary violation. Or when Elon Musk was married and whispered into his wife's ear on the dance floor, "I wear the pants in the family." That's a shocking boundary violation. Getting someone over a barrel and then devastating them with betrayal trauma, that's a shocking boundary violation. What are some other examples of shocking boundary violations? Other shocking boundary violations are the kinds that come from other dictators. People who take territory in order to tell the body of a person or of a country that this is mine. Someone who grabs someone by their genitals and then normalizes that as locker room talk is speaking to normalize terrorism. Period. And in recent years, there was someone who used this language, and pardon me, who said you can grab them by the pussy. Does that sound like someone who should be in charge of making any decisions for women? Does that sound like someone who has the respect for human rights? That means he should be anywhere near decisions that change and enslave lives? Shocking boundary violations include things like this. This is Hitler visiting the Sudetenland. What is the significance of the Sudetenland? What is the significance of the Sudetenland? Hitler invaded the Sudetenland, and Chamberlain from England appeased him, just as we have appeased Donald Trump for many years. Just as when Donald Trump grabbed our nation's pussy from behind two safes where someone had to let him thieve from us. He stole our private parts, declassifying them with his mind, and when told after being sent from office, you stole documents you were not supposed to touch. You stole documents that were not supposed to leave that room with anyone. Return them. And he just seemed to keep thinking, well, I get to grab you by the pussy because I already own it. And rather than actually raiding his home, which should have been done on day one of holding documents that were SCSI level danger to society, danger to Americans, we have appeased him, and even people meant to police him have failed to say no. Just the same as appeasing Hitler and saying, oh, certainly you won't take any more. Oh gosh, you seem to feel a little sad and bad and not so glad at this slap on the wrist there. I wish you were my dad. Okay, thanks for this tough talk, Mr. Führer. It didn't really go so well for us before. Appeasing a dark triad predator when they utilize shocking boundary violations is a failed and submitting tactic. Appeasement is submission. The United States has submitted to Donald Trump And our only hope is to break that submission and to be awake and woke. Only a body that is aware enough and alert enough to take care of itself and the basic needs of people in its community is ultimately able to be safe. And we must foster a world where people don't need to be a perfect super soldier in order to be safe, but by being aware of how we care for one another and of the dignity of human kindness and of humanity and human life. That we foster kindness and know to hold boundaries of steel when a dictator says they will jail their opponents on day one or suspend habeas corpus on day one. Those are shocking boundary violations. Shocking boundary violations. That's how Hitler did what he did. Shocking boundary violations. Like telling someone at a debate when they ask you, will you obey the will of the voters and will you push forward a peaceful transfer of power, whatever happens? Will you support that heralded tentpole of democracy that we all support a peaceful transfer of power? Will you adhere to the terms of service? And he said, I'll keep you in suspense. What is that? Yes, that is a shocking boundary violation meant to stun and flummox and throw us into fight or flight, and we fucking froze. I'll keep you in suspense suspended us until he actually suspended us on January 6th, 2021. He broke and held, stalled, and flummoxed the course of American democracy. It has never happened before, and it will happen again if we don't stop Donald Trump and his coterie of breach exploiters. He has donned the falsehood, and there are pretenders to his anti-throne. What is another example of a deadly, shocking boundary violation? It's good to have more than one example. What's another example of a shocking boundary violation that threatens the very safety of our country? I wonder if you can think of one. How about this?
Confirmed that a Trump aide did indeed push an Arlington National Cemetery employee as she tried to enforce the rules, making this the latest gaffe in Donald Trump's long and horrific record of disrespect toward U.S. troops and veterans.
We are not talking about disrespect. We're talking about defecation. We're not talking about dissing. We're talking about degrading. We are talking about defiling. Defiling the most sacred space. And when meeting a boundary, being violent. That's what he did. It is time to break free of the addiction of this fear. What fear? It's time to break free of the fear of saying he would do that. He just did. And he meant it. Premeditated or not, he means to do what he does. And if it's improvised and he stands behind it, all the worse. He is a monster! Shocking boundary violations are how a dark triad predator terrorizes and makes a body and a mind freeze and submit and beg for death or prison or instructions. Wake up or you will be found. Please, wake up. Wake up now. If you need to hear yelling, hear the yelling of a kind voice saying, wake the fuck up. Shocking boundary violations have been used upon you for over 8 years. You are having the living shit beat out of you by Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson. The living shit is being kicked from your teeth. The living shit is being kicked from your lungs. Unless you breathe deep and say no. No more. No more. He just told you that with immunity, he can do anything! And we have to say no! 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 We will not have a bricktator. We will brick your fucking nose! Dick! You will be broken! The new Colossus will stomach your throat and shit you out. You will be shot into the moat. You will never, ever defile us again. You will be broken, and the breath of the new Colossus will send you end over end. Shocking boundary violations are how a dark triad predator tells you you are in an abusive relationship forever.
You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger looking into your eyes saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood?
Sets the fear of separation. 6, the fear of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan. are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will demonize your sensitivity. The falsehood will claim the press is our enemy. To cry fake news, then preempt remedy, suggests false identity. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The fielding is real and the real is real. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will tell